What is going on, everybody? It's Jay, aka it's Blue NANAMI story here, back with another Phantom Parade sweep video. And yes, there has been a lot of sweep videos being uploaded to the channel recently. I kind of want to just get, I guess you could say, the other side of the game's content out of the way for units that I am using for the most part. And I feel like if I'm, in quotation marks, completing the game with units in question, should be able to bring them on their quote-unquote hardest content of the game that they could be played on, and on top of that, clear with them. So Blue NANAMI is being put onto hard sweep. Now, the main issue with like these little Blue NANAMI missions I'm doing on the side is that the tower missions for him, I would say, are pretty tough. I would say debuff-oriented content really does cook this unit badly. And it's also pretty similar in regards, so I would say the new green NANAMI. I feel like if you would look at him in comparison to Floor 88, Floor 88, where it's a buff stage, you can kind of see him play out with all of his self buffs and kind of all the fun stuff he can do with his own personal kit. You could see, like, I guess you could say his true state. But for blue, and similar with green NANAMI on like Floor 82, there's debuff stages. And when you have a unit that their kit is heavily based around their self buffs or they're buffing while they're attacking, obviously you could tell if you put them on a debuff stage, their performance is going to have a sharp fall attached to it, even if you have like their maxed out SP, you know, alongside the co-op SP node. And that is also kind of like a little issue I came upon while using this NANAMI, is that these buffs that he gives himself alongside, you know, obviously using skill 2 before maybe ultimate is very, very important. And if those are nerfed, you're going to see by far the smallest numbers for your ultimate. Now, mind you, my NANAMI only has his ult at skill level 8 because I prioritize maxing out his skill 2 and skill 3 in preparation for his SP. Now, during this run in specific, it's kind of interesting to think because it's not really the ult that I'm worrying about the most in terms of damage, oddly enough. I'm more worried about if he black flashes, and when he black flashes, is he going to black flash consistently? Because once NANAMI starts black flashing in typical fashion of any black flash unit, they start mowing down crazy amounts of damage. But I have had runs where, obviously I'm not showing it in this video, but I've had runs where NANAMI would go up to like 9 turns without black flashing, and we're talking about a unit who boosts his own crit rate, okay? He boosts his own crit rate on skill 3. He has crit resist decrease on his ultimate. So those are just some really, really unfortunate runs I've had like in the back pocket that has happened. But when this character gets rolling, it's kind of hard to stop him. It's really hard to stop him. A very Snowball-esque character. That's the best way I'll put it. And I would say I've had really bad RNG trying to get this clear. I would say the worst, I guess, RNG I had was I had 2 runs in a row where I did not know the blue sweep boss could do this until recording this sweep clear. But the blue sweep boss obviously has the CE drain and alt drain move that it does. And I have never seen it do that move 2 times in a row. One for the turn of and the turn afterwards, and it basically killed the run. And it happened twice in a row, both of the times happening to NANAMI before his combo ult right at the end of phase 3, and it cooked the entire run in a horrid way. Now, all in all, I'm going to try and explain the run for, like, I guess you could say a surface level analysis, as it's obviously still ongoing and we're kind of approaching the end part of it. And there is a lot of but like outro commentary. But the main game plan is to kind of just copy the format of my SP Blue Yuji run, where it's like, okay, get as much damage out as I can during phase 3, due to like the stereotypical stuff to get you phase 1 and phase 2 in a reasonable amount of turns. But the main goal is to have Inumaki ult on like the very last turn and guarantee the clear no matter what. But if I remember correctly, it wasn't even 1000% necessary for Inumaki to ult at the end. It's just something that I wanted to happen. And we kind of got like I guess you could say, for my standards, like an early transition over to Phase 3, so we had a lot of leeway to work with. So I guess I can say, dive into more detail after the run is cleared. But obviously, due to like a lot of resets, I'm not exactly talking 24/7 throughout the entirety of a lot of these sweep recorded runs. Which is why I kind of wanted to talk here in this really long post-commentary ramble, because I feel like I'm not talking nearly as much as I used to in videos, and I feel like a very big element of my channel is not just gameplay, but also my thought process while playing the game as well. But I'm gonna let the rest of the footage speak out for itself. Post-commentary story is now out. Oh wait, hold on. This might be green. It might be green. Okay. We're not stressing. We're not stressing. We're still in it. Okay, hold on. Oh yeah, this is easy, easy. Just like the blue Yuji clear, we're in this. We're in this. And you know, boom, boom. And you know what, Inumaki, to congratulate NANAMI for his graduation, we're gonna Aura Farm. Aura Farm. Go ahead, NANAMI, Aura Farm. Inumaki, send us home, brother. Excellent. Now that we're finally here, I'm gonna give like a very long-winded explanation on this run. So, in the exact same format that my original blue Yuji clear went, is kind of the exact same run in that regard, where you're almost heavily relying on Inumaki getting that ultimate on that final turn, while I'm relying on Inumaki to get that ultimate in the final turn. A big issue I had originally was that it always felt like I needed one more turn, or I would be like a couple 100,000 off a clear. Some runs, the damage would fluctuate pretty hard. Like sometimes NANAMI's max ult would be 16 million, sometimes his max ult would be 15, sometimes it would be 22, sometimes it'll be 20. Same with Ghetto. Sometimes his ultimate would be 22 million, sometimes it would be 15 million. So a lot of very weird circumstantial stuff. And also the boss using its ult steal move. Runs could end as late as turn 13. And that kind of made, you know, doing back and forth runs very agitating, but it kind of just made, I guess you can say, what is it? The ease of like going back and forth. It's not as bad because like once you got a flow down, it's like, okay, this has to happen on this turn, that has to happen on that turn, yada, 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 yada. The main thing that I benefited from this run was originally I was having Kaido leave on turn 2. Having Kaido leave on turn 1 and just taking the risk of like, okay, can we get out of phase 1 by turn 4 instead of turn 5 is what was kind of the whole shebang. But that is sweep done for NANAMI. So the NANAMI arc continues, hopefully in the build-up, you know, until his SP drops, right? We'll be able to clear the rest of the content I have in mind for him. But that was certainly a doozy. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. There's probably be like a lot of post-commentary me, most likely. But thank you guys for watching. If you did watch all the way to the end, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord server. It is in the channel bio. Thank you for over 2,000 subscribers. But most importantly, it has been Jay, aka It's Ghost Story. And I will see you guys later.